Do you want to be amongst the first to experience Epic Universe while everyone else is sleeping? Well, Universal Orlando recently released all of the rides which will be open for early park admission, and we believe this could be your golden ticket to beating the crowds and making sure you get onto every single ride during your one day at Epic. And even if you think you are a Universal Orlando expert, you'll want to watch this video because early park admission is not in the land that you might think it is. So stick around as we are about to break down the lands, the rides, and what we believe will be the best strategy for tackling early park admission once Epic opens up. So without any further ado, let's go get started. So let's start with the basics, and with early park admission, guests staying at one of the official Universal Orlando hotels will get 1 hour early entry into the parks to ride some of the most popular attractions. So this means that not only can you unlock shorter lines, but you also will have the opportunity to explore the new lands with less crowds and really take advantage of seeing what Epic Universe is all about. Now, there are some important notes. Epic Universe does have early park admission scheduled to start on May 23rd, 2025. So that's actually one day after the official opening, which is May 22nd. And from what we can see, not every day will have early park admission at Epic. And Universal hopefully will continue to do a rolling schedule where they will have the other 3 parks open as well, on specific days for early park admission. And what we've seen is previously the most popular park has been Islands of Adventure, but I'm really hoping that with Epic into the fold, we also will see some early park admission hours over at Universal Studios Florida to maybe balance things out. But now that we have the basics out of the way, you might be wondering, well, Mike, get onto it. What are the rides open during early park admission at Epic Universe? And we have 4 attractions, and the biggest difference here is that it does not include the newest Wizarding World of Harry Potter land, the Ministry of Magic. Early park admission is going to be held within Super Nintendo World and 1 ride in Celestial Park. So 3 of them can be found within Super Nintendo World, and those 3 rides are going to be Donkey Kong Minecart Madness, Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, and Yoshi's Adventure. Moving over to the 1 ride in Celestial Park, we do have Stardust Racers. And so now that you know the rides, you might be wondering what is the best strategy now for getting the most out of your early park admission hour. And nothing has really changed here if you've been watching my channel. One of the most important tips and tricks that we have been giving over the years is to get the most out of early park admission. Make sure that you arrive early. And we typically recommend to our clients to arrive 1 hour before early park admission even starts. And this essentially will allow you to be some of the first guests into the park and hopefully get onto a couple of the rides as quickly as possible. And another important thing to keep in mind is looking at the map, I think it's about the same distance if you're coming in from the front of the park compared to the back of the park. And the biggest difference here is that Universal has a new hotel, the Grand Helios Hotel, which actually is connected to Epic Universe. It has a private entrance. But from what I could see looking at the map, I really don't think there's a clear-cut winner as far as who might have an advantage, to get to the rides quickest. And when you look at where Super Nintendo World is compared to, let's say, Stardust Racers on the map, they're pretty much right across from each other, and they're kind of both equally right in the center of Epic Universe. And so what we would say to this is typically the tip and trick in the past has been to skip the first ride, right? Because most guests, as soon as they get into the park, if they see the first ride open, they'll go and they'll get on that ride, and the line will be a little bit longer. The tip here would be, we see that the crowds typically will lean towards roller coasters. So what we're going to recommend is to do the opposite. So Stardust Racers is a roller coaster, so we're recommending to go straight to Super Nintendo World during your early park admission hour. And one of the other reasons why this could be important, and I can't make any promises here, I don't officially know yet, but the rumors are that Universal Orlando could run a virtual queue to get into the different lands of Epic Universe, with Super Nintendo World being one of them. So you need to prioritize to get into that land. These are just the reasons why this is kind of a no-brainer. Multiple signs are telling us, hey, just go get into Super Nintendo World, target that section of Epic for your early park admission hour. And now that we've gotten that out of the way, you might be wondering, well, which order of the ride should I go on? And of course, we're about to break that down. But if you are finding this video helpful till this point, please just be sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video, as it will help us get the video out to more families who are planning theme park vacations, and also you will get our latest videos as soon as possible to make sure you are prepared for your next Universal Orlando vacation. Okay, but over to the order you should go on the rides. And of course, when it comes to a brand new park, we don't know exactly how popular or what exactly the wait times will be, but we can base a lot of this off of Universal Studios Japan and also Universal Studios Hollywood, which does have, in their own sense, similar Super Nintendo worlds. Universal Japan, of course, is going to be biggest, but based on everything we can see so far, this is the order we would tackle the rides. We would start with Donkey Kong Minecart Madness. Second, we would go to Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge. Third, we would do Yoshi's Adventure. And then just the fourth order from a ride standpoint, we would go and finish out Stardust Racers. And this kind of mimics a typical strategy that we would do over at Islands of Adventure. So at Islands of Adventure, we would typically do Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure, which is, of course, Minecart Madness. Then the Forbidden Journey, which is, of course, Mario Kart, Bowser's Challenge. And then we would do Flight of the Hippogriff, which would be Yoshi's Adventure. And then, of course, over to the Velocicoaster, which is going to be Stardust Racers over at Epic Universe. And what I would also say here is you could also do this in reverse. You could go for Stardust Racers first and then kind of tackle Super Nintendo World after. Again, though, like I said, the rumors of Universal maybe capping capacity at the different worlds does worry me a little bit. And I would also say that one of the things that I personally loved about Super Nintendo World in Universal Hollywood was being able to take advantage of this area with lower crowds, not even talking about the rides, just the Super Nintendo World in general. If you grew up playing the video games, you're going to be blown away by how immersive this land is. And Universal has interactive power-up games going on, so we bought power-up bands and we were running around enjoying that. But also they have meet and greets, brand new meet and greets, especially if you're visiting with young kids, which you can take advantage of with lower wait times and lower crowds. And we even grabbed a meal at Toadstool Cafe, which was going to be a very popular quick service restaurant, and we took advantage of that early in the morning. It was 7:30 in the morning and we were eating burgers and macaroni, but we wanted to try the food, and this was the slowest time to try it. So as you can see, there are just so many signs pointing to that I feel that it is going to be advantageous to take advantage of Super Nintendo World. And now that you know what we will be doing and how we might start our day, here are some of our favorite tips and tricks from the past that will help you tackle early park admission. So one of my favorites is make sure that you do download the Universal Orlando app in advance. And a lot of times Universal will typically release the early park admission hours or which parks it will be at on certain days on the Universal Orlando app before the website. And they will typically release it about 30 to 60 days in advance. Over to tip number 2, and again, I can't emphasize this enough, make sure that you do get to the parks extremely early. I always recommend to arrive an hour before early park admission even starts. And a lot of families will typically say, well, we're still waiting an hour, so what's the benefit? But the truth is, my thought process has always been, you're not paying for that time. The park isn't open, so I would rather wait an hour at the front of the turnstiles and be some of the first guests in the park versus waiting an hour once the park opens when realistically you should be on rides at that point in time. And another important tip and trick specifically for early park admission at Epic is going to be that this is not on the main Universal Orlando campus. So Epic Universe is kind of its own campus, and it is a little bit further away than what you might be used to if you visited Universal Orlando in the past. Traveling from the official hotels to Universal Studios Florida, Islands of Adventure, or Volcano Bay might have taken you a shorter amount of time as, let's say, traveling now from those same hotels over to Epic Universe. I'm projecting it's going to be around a 15-minute shuttle bus, so just keep that in mind as you are getting ready to go over to the parks. And it is going to be a little difficult if you are taking advantage of the free transportation. That transportation will pretty much start an hour before early park admission starts. So, you might have to maybe Uber or Lyft if you're really set on getting the most out of it. Typically for the main 2 parks, City Walk opened up an hour before early park admission. I would stay at a hotel that allowed me to walk over. I'm hoping for a similar, game plan strategy where the area will open up an hour before for the our strategy of getting there an hour before. Okay, over to the next, and don't forget, like I said, in Universal Studios Hollywood, the power-up games were available during early entry, and we loved it. Definitely make sure that you're taking advantage of that if you are going to do that at some point in your day. And like I said, food booths will be open too. But I guess last but not least, if getting on the rides is the most popular thing, especially when it comes to Epic, I really would go from one ride straight to the next to really try to maximize your time and then take advantage of, power-up games, all that other good stuff once you've gotten your must-do rides out of the way. But that is it, everyone. As you can see, having a solid strategy for early park admission, understanding when they will be running early park admission, the rides that they have open for early park admission will really set your entire day up for success. And I really hope that this video helped you get a better feel for what you have in store for you waiting at Epic Universe. And if you are interested in possibly staying at one of the official Universal Orlando hotels to make sure that you do get to take advantage of that extra hour, just be sure to go check out our website, theparkprodigy.com, as we have a ton of information. We have a bunch of discounted theme park tickets, discounted hotel and ticket packages. And as a thank you for sticking around till the end of this video, I have a special promo code you can go use on our website to save an extra $50 off your next Universal Orlando vacation. And that promo code is going to be MAGIC50. But I think that's all the time we have for today. Thank you all again so much for checking out this video, and make sure you stick around for the next video that YouTube is about to put right here, as they think that you will enjoy it.